Welcome to this Python for Economics Students tutorial series. This tutorial series is sponsored by Teaching and Learning Center from Lingnan University and the Teaching Development Grant Program. The tutorial is prepared specifically for students majoring in economics. The goal of this tutorial series is to show what economics students can do with just few Python programming skills and concepts. Except for this very first episode, I will try to embed programming concepts in real-life example. Hopefully, in this way, you'll be able to see how quickly you can get something done with just few lines of code. For example, as economics students, we often want to collect first-hand data for research purpose, and very often those data lives on internet and are not easily available as data sets. For example, we might want to collect some major companies' YouTube channel subscriber count across a period of time and then use that as a proxy to see if the company is popular and what is the trend looking like for the company's popularity. Here I have a script, a very simple Python script. You can see we have only 15 lines of code and one of them is empty. This piece of script will do exactly what I just described. If I click run, and this Python script will automatically collect the real-time subscriber count from YouTube right here. You can see that's 11.8 million subscriber, and it will catch that information for me automatically. And this will be useful when we were able to do this across a long period of time and across a bunch of companies. Here I have only Apple, Microsoft, and Google, but we can also add on Tesla and a bunch of other companies that you are interested in your research. And that's what we are going to do by the end of this whole tutorial. But before we do that, I will need to tell you some really basic Python programming concepts before we can make this piece of script. But before we can do anything, the first thing I will need to teach you is how do I actually, where do we program from? To make things easier, I found a online software called, let's call it Replit, okay? To access Replit, what you need to do is simply go to Google and Google Replit, alright? And you will end up being here. This is where you start coding without any installation, that kind of hassles, because I know that would be a pain for many beginners. And let's just start with an online development environment that will help us move forward a lot faster. So when you are here, simply click Start Coding and select Python as your language. Then you can create your Replit. Alright, you don't even need to log in, but I strongly recommend you sign up an account for this, and so you can save your codes and results and so on, but you don't have to do that. So again, just search for repl.it, Replit. Then you will end up being here. Click Start Coding, select Python, and create your Replit. You will end up being in a brand new workspace. And let me explain what's going on here. There's an empty file called main.py here, and it's also shown on the left hand panel right here. This file is empty and it's created automatically. It shows what files you have in the workspace. You can create one, you can delete one, you can create a folder for it, and it's basically a file navigation system. Then in the middle section, here's where you write your code. For example, let's say print, give it braces, print hello world. And then if I hit the run button, the program's output will be shown on the right hand side. This is where we call console as well. And now you can see our program just got executed by hitting the run button, and the result is printed on the right hand side. We can do this a couple more times. Let's do it 4 times. We'll end up with for hello world. And be careful here, if you have to put your string that is hello world into either double quote sign or single quote sign, like that. It doesn't really matter, but you have to put on quotes, so Python wouldn't be confused by what do you mean by hello world. It will see that as a piece of text and just display whatever you tell it to. Now I just show you what are strings and how you can print them out. Let's talk more about strings. Let's put it this way. A string is nothing but a long sequence of characters. So let's say we have a string hello. Let me delete off that. Hello. And let's say we want to know what is the first character of this particular string hello. What we can do is to type hello and then with a square bracket, a pair of square bracket there, and put 0 index in the bracket. Click run. What we will see is actually the first character of this long string, lowercase h. And if we want to show lowercase e, what we want to do is increment the index by 1 and then say hello square bracket 1, and then we'll end up with lowercase e. You may wonder why does the index count from 0. The easy way to think about this is to compare it with lift in Hong Kong. When you go to a lift, the first floor to show up is usually called ground floor instead of first floor. Same in Python programming. The first element of a list of things is usually called, actually it's always called 0 in index instead of 1. That is just how computer works. A string can be printed to output console and then can be indexed to show a particular character. We've already seen that. And I want to show you another thing, that is how to slice a string. Let's say we have a sentence or a string rather called hello world. And for this particular scenario, we only want to print out the hello part, but not the space in between and the world part. What we can do is actually right after the hello world string, put a pair of square bracket and say from index 0 all the way to index 5. So what this means is we are slicing the string hello world from index 0 to index 5, and that means the first 5 characters of the string. If we run this, we will see hello and not see the world part of the string. There are a lot more things you can do to manipulate strings, but for our purpose, that's about enough for now for the episode 1. Believe it or not, in the next episode, we will start to build our YouTube subscriber and counter program. Along the way, I will explain any new concepts we will need to finish the program, and see you in the next episode.